Welcome to Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday. Wall Pass Wednesday. John here, you there. Thanks for coming by SDHAM. I got Justin Osteen warming up in the bullpen. He's going to come in and talk Pike County. Rob Houston, bottom of the hour. We got UPSL and brackets for GHSA in hour number 1. Dylan in hour number 2. CONCACAF, can champ. Jonathan Osorio is mad. European competitions, all the news, all the things. But before we get to Justin, this happened, so let me go here. Fancy breaking news sounder. I figured I'd go that way. Atlanta's NWSL 2028 named Keith McCloat, Vice President, Chief Financial Officer. The former New York Mets exec has been selected to lead financial functions of the NWSL Atlanta 2028. So that's the news there. All right. No more dillying and dallying because Justin came in like super hyper early, and we checked everything out, and we checked it out, and he's there. It is still there. From the gym in Zebulon or the school. Are you in the gym or the school, or where are you hiding?
I'm in the gym, just in a little side office.
Okay, so
Justin, well, basketball coach's office, but
okay,
they don't do soccer coaches.
You're live on a morning show. You got to find a place to hide. I see how this goes. Thank you for doing this, and it's always great to see you. I wanted to catch up with you because we are through with the quarterfinals. I think for maybe like one matchup because of schedules, venues, and things. Quarterfinals are done. You're still playing. What's going on in your mind right now?
Just worried about the next game. Got a tough one coming up with Columbus. Very tough Columbus team who's had some good results against some really good teams. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to, I guess, reuniting with one of my former players, Catherine Lovin, who's the head coach over there. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Failed to beat her yet. I've played her a couple of times since she's been over there, and she's beat me, but I think twice, maybe 3 times. I think it's twice. So, yeah.
She's not giving you any slack, huh?
No, not at all, and she shouldn't. That's just the kind of player she was too, though. So.
When you started this year, I know expectations are always high for you down there at Pike County. If I had told you, that you'd be 18-3, you'd ran through region the way that you did, you'd have 6 double-digit goal scorers, you'd be averaging about 6.5 goals a game, and have a stingy defense that you've got, what would you have told me?
I would have believed you. I mean, I know we graduated a pretty good bit last year. What, eight or 9 seniors, wow. I believe.
Wow.
But I knew we had a really good crew coming in, and we had a really good crew that was left from the team last year. I knew we would have a successful season. I didn't know how successful, but the goal is always win championship, and we're on our way to doing it. So,
how tough is AA when it comes to girls soccer here in Georgia?
I feel like it's a pretty tough league. So heck, our region alone, we have some pretty tough teams. Callaway, Morgan County. Don't want to leave anyone out. Jackson's usually pretty tough as well.
Yeah.
Don't want to throw shade on anybody else, but anytime you're playing a region game here, it can, you think it can go any way. Like first time we played Morgan County, they just had an odd season to begin the season. They got a late start. They had to reschedule games. So when we played the first game, we caught them, I think it was their first game back in weeks. And, we had a really good result against them. I told you it was going to happen. But then, we went to their place and we could only pull out 1-0. Coach Stamp's done a really good job with those ladies. And, they're tough as anybody you can play.
You had to get through Morgan County to get into the matchup with Columbus. I wanted to talk about this offense, which is crazy. And you have underclassmen that are a big part of this. Sophomore with 29, freshman with 12. You do have another freshman with 16, and then you have 2 juniors with 30 total. What's it like to see them immediate, those freshmen and the sophomores just immediately maturing and understanding the task at hand, and knowing what they've got to do as 15 and 16-year-olds, knowing what you've always wanted to accomplish there at Pike County year in and year out.
Right. Well, let's see how to explain. Well, I don't even know it. Dude, you got me nervous over here. I'm not gonna lie. The biggest thing for me is, the girls want to score goals, but they don't care who scores goals. They just, the main point for them is to win the game and get the result. But a lot of seasons you'll have a pretty good bit of goals with low assist rate or whatnot. But the majority of our goals this year, have assists that come with them. They're not necessarily somebody dribbling the entire team and scoring. So, the girls are unselfish and they know how to create opportunities. And it's just fun to watch them. To be fair.
Do you get the chance to enjoy it?
Oh yeah, without doubt. Most of the time when I'm not nervous, but
I was going to say, when you're focused on the game in front of you, you're worried about getting a win, but because of everything that they're doing and with the skill level that they have, I always wonder sometimes if coaches get the chance to enjoy success, or if they have to wait until the season's over, then they think back and look on it and go, yeah, we had a really good run and we had some really good players doing some really cool things. I didn't know if you got the chance to enjoy it while it was happening.
I think in my many years being here, I think I've learned to enjoy it more during the game. It's just, I don't even know how to say this. Wow. I'm sorry, I'm giving you good content here. It's just to be, of course, as a coach, you're going to be stressed out and worried about result and, if we're going to play well or whatever. But then when when the girls get on the field and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I'm not really having to say much to them, they make adjustments on their own. Sometimes it's enjoyable to just watch your team play. And I've learned to do that over, I used to, yell about mistakes or whatever. The girls know they make a mistake, but they know how to fix it as well. So sometimes it's just easier to let the girls play and enjoy it.
Now, I want to ask about the vibe there on campus and in the community, because both the boys and the girls teams made playoff runs this year,
Right.
and are continuing to be successful. What's the vibe like in Zebulon for the program with everything that's going on? I know that Middle Georgia, it's heavy with the FOOTBALL at times, and I know Stephen and what Coach Holmes is doing on the football side of things.
Right.
What is it with the FUTBOL side, and what's the support like there that you see?
There's a oh man, I lost my word. There's a lot of excitement right now, of course, for our boys. They just made the Final Four for the first time ever. Finally got past that Elite Eight stage. The teams that didn't make it, the Elite Eight. But the excitement is there, especially after the game last night with penalty kicks. We also had honors night last night that started. I think it was during the boys' game, but it ended before the boys' game was over, and had a really good crowd come out in the overtime periods and penalty kicks. It was a pretty good environment to me. But a lot of excitement. I feel like you brought up the regular football, American football side. Coach Holmes does a job of building some excitement for everybody, not just football, but he works hard for everybody, which is good to see as well.
Yeah. I've known Stephen since his time over there at Manchester, and how he has been turning winners on the FOOTBALL side of things. Like I said, I just wanted to catch up. Boys and girls, boys beating Crisp, and they're in the Final Four, and Pierce is coming to Zebulon Friday, and you got Columbus coming to your place. Are you going to Do you have anything that's left up your sleeves that that the protege is not going to know about, or is it pretty much everybody knows everything right now?
I'm sure she's done her homework. I don't have anything special planned. The only thing that made a change is the weather coming in tomorrow. And, you know, we have a grass field that likes to hold on to the water. You know, hopefully we can get the game off tomorrow, but if not, we already discussed it and have plans to move it to Friday, and we'll have a double header with the boys. Probably be a lot bigger crowd that way as well, but hoping to get it in tomorrow. And you know, the rain coming in, those worrisome.
Well, it just needs to not come in until like later, and then that way the girls can play, and the girls can play, and you're not having to worry about a slog and a crown and anything like that down there at Pike County. Justin, it's great to see you. I'm glad that we were able to catch up. Have good luck for both you and the boys' side coming up here Thursday and Friday. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming on the morning show. And do you need a note to get back into class?
Oh no, this is my planning period. I'm normally cutting grass right now or painting the field. But they have a field day for the primary school this week, and they use the stadium field out there. So there's, you know, inflatables and all kinds. There's no cutting grass today. I have grass after practice and painting the field after practice today.
Oh,
so just be a late night.
All right. Well, go enjoy field day.
Thanks for having me on
Thursday and Friday. Boys, be good. All right. This is Justin Osteen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Girls head coach at Pike County. It's great to catch up with our friends down in Zebulon. Double A. It's a possible doubleheader, but we don't want that because then that would mean that it would be rain and all these kinds of things. And so once again, another great season for Pike County, and they're doing really well. Girls side, once again, here's your bracket. Number 1 versus number 2 coming up on Thursday in Zebulon in Double A. We'll go into this a little bit more in detail in brackets and red clay. Red clay is getting pretty stacked, just to give you an idea. By the way, remember, no red clay or morning show tomorrow because we are heading down to the groundbreaking of the National Training Center. And because it happens late morning and early afternoon, we're kind of stuck. So what we might do is, with some of the interviews that we do there at the National Training Center, piece it together. We might have a power hour. We might run some tape. It might just be stuff like that tomorrow, but no morning show tomorrow and no red clay tomorrow because of everything going on. So that'll set everything up to Friday. And we're efforting guests for both the morning show here and for red clay on Friday. We are in the process of figuring out where we want to go for games on Thursday and Friday. We will let you know what's going on with that. And when we know, follow us on social media, and then we'll blow it up for you, and we'll let you know what's going on. Okay, Rob Houston set to join us in about 10 minutes from Greenbrier, and we're going to discuss what happened with Greenbrier and Lassiter and just catch up with him. So, like I said, the rundown for the morning is kind of high schoolish to start. Then we get into the other divisions. Then we get into MLS, and then we get into everything that happened. Like I said, Jonathan Osorio is pretty mad. Considering what happened last night to Toronto FC in the Can Champ, I would be too. It's rare that you get a Balu Tabla hattie, and it was a natural hat trick, by the way. So Atletico Ottawa knocked off Toronto FC, and we'll hear from Jonathan Osorio in hour number 2. Arsenal wins yesterday. They're advancing to the final. They're going to Lisbon, and they get to find out who they're going to be playing today. I don't know if you're going to be able to match the chaos of 5-4 that happened with PSG and Bayern Munich last time, but we'll see. 9 goals last time out, and I think 8.5 over-under was a plus 4,000, if I'm not mistaken. So in there, you'll have all of the discussions and all the stuff. So, all right. And all right, so Dustin's going to be joined. All right, so here's the rundown for Red Clay as we know it. It is Jason Galt from West Forsyth at noon. Dustin Jeanette from GMC Prep 10 minutes after that. It is Justin Brantley from Islands 10 minutes after that. Bottom of the hour, we just added Alex Zimmerman from East Hall. as their Cinderella run continues. They got a win last night on the boys' side, and they have made it to the state semifinals. And it is in, as I sit here and flip through all of my brackets to figure it out, it is in probably the last page. Okay, AAA boys, they're going to go to Dexter to take on West Lawrence on Friday. And AAA boys is Jefferson at Islands. East Hall is at West Lawrence. And Hall County, once again, getting represented pretty solidly across the board. Gainesville got a win last night. It was East Hall continuing their win and, making deep runs as the county in general. Johnson Gainesville's girls continue to do well. And so we're going to be catching up with folks on Friday. And then next week, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Red Clay, because Luke Winstall and I are going to be at Upson Lee on Thursday and Friday for the Class A Division I and Division II boys and girls. Jason and Maddie are going to start at Duluth for the championships. I think it's Monday. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think. And then Justin Hanover and Nick Alifi are going to take over there. Justin and Nick are going to start at St. Pius, and then they're going to work their way over to Duluth when the championships are over. Okay, so that's the rundown there. So last night on the network, dominant performance by the number one team in the country, and it was a big win for Johns Creek and Kelly Bowler. We're going to try and catch up with Kelly on Friday as well. I don't know how his match days go, but it was a big win for them. 7-1. It was 3-0. Then it was 3-1 right before the half. Then they put the pedal down early second half, and they go on to win that one 7-1. And so it was another win for Johns Creek as they continue to be the number one team in the country. So yesterday, AA boys, we'll just blow through the brackets here real quick. Savannah Arts is going to go to Columbus. Pierce County goes to Pike County. That's AA boys. Pierce County boys making their way through. Metter and Atco. Atkinson County is going to host because the arrow goes up. So Metter at Atkinson County, Brooks and GMC Prep. We've talked to Brooks on the girls' side, Thomas on the boys' side. They are going to go from Quitman to Milledgeville on Friday. So we'll catch up with Dustin Jeanette in the noon show. Thomasville goes to Model. Really looking forward to that one. That is that one's on Friday as well. Model got a 5-0 win over Jasper County. We had Donnie Mendentz, the head coach of Model, on the noon show on the morning show yesterday. Thomasville, we've had them on the noon show in Red Clay. So Thomasville's at Model. Barrow Arts goes to Eatonton, knocks off Putnam County. They're going to go to Armurchie. That is Class A D1 boys. Meadow Creek goes to Carrollton, where we put out a bat signal to Coach Rodriguez to see if he can join us on Friday morning in the leadoff slot like he did before. Meadow Creek knocks off Lambert. That was a big win for the Meadow Creek program. They're going to go to Carrollton. Carrollton beat Peachtree Ridge 2-1. Collins Hill's going to go to Walton to take on the boys. Collins Hill beat Campbell, your defending champs. Walton knocked off Buford last night at Buford. So Collins Hill at Buford, Meadow Creek at Carrollton. Johns Creek, with their win, they're going to go to Decatur and be over there on Friday. Then it's Gainesville knocking off Pope and River Ridge shutting out Dunwoody. So in a way, 5A looks like it might be Johns Creek and River Ridge for the boys' 5A final. Quad A, Marist knocks off Benedictine, and Dalton beat St. Pius. So it's going to be Marist, the 3 seed out of Region 5, going to Dalton, and Dalton is your region champ out of Region 7. Keep an eye out. It might be a little birdie telling you something about that matchup on Friday. Midtown's going to go to Walnut Grove. Midtown beat Centennial yesterday. 3 seed out of Region 4 goes to your Region 8 champs, who knocked off Clarkston 2-1. Great season for the Angoras in DeKalb County. Private, Whitfield Academy. We need to catch up with them. Whitfield and AIS. And so Whitfield as team number 1, AIS as team 13. AIS beat Lovett. Whitfield beat GAC. AIS is going to be at Lovett. Mount Vernon as team 7 is going to go to Hebron Christian. Hebron Christian shut out Fellowship, and it was Mount Vernon over Paideia. That's the private. AAA boys, once again, we mentioned Jefferson's at Islands. We mentioned East Hall is at West Lawrence. Alex Zimmerman's going to join us at 12:30. 6A girls and private girls are private, and that's not boys. So that's your rundown of everything that happened on the boys side of things. Like I said, Rob Houston from Greenbrier is going to be joining us here in just a little bit, and we'll talk about the girls game. Then we'll get into UPSL. Then we'll get into MLS with Dylan, and then we'll get into everything else that happened on the day. Dell, as a Marseille fan, is rooting for Bayern to knock off PSG. And I think it would be kind of cool for Harry Kane to actually, get a trophy and get to hoist it in a certain situation. They are talking contract extension for Harry Kane, and so we'll see what that looks like for him and for Bayern. My guess is it's pretty much going to be a fait accompli, but we'll find out, and we'll wait and see what happens there. Let me run through the boys bracket once again really quickly before Rob Houston joins us. No, girls bracket, because we just did the boys bracket because they played last night. So 5A girls, Roswell's going to go to Chambly, number 2 ranked Roswell at number 7 Chambly, and this is tomorrow, barring weather and things like that, because we remember what Coach Osteen said about weather. Pope is going to go to Greenbrier. We'll talk about what happened to Greenbrier in the previous round when Rob visits us in a second. Blessed Trinity, who is ranked number 2, is going to go to number 4 Midtown and Quad A, and Westminster, ranked number 3, is going to go to Marist, and so it is 2, 4, 3, and 1 in the rankings, and they're the ones that are in your semifinals. BT at Midtown, Westminster at Marist. That's Quad A girls. AAA girls, number 1 ranked Tacony County is going to host Johnson Gainesville. Number 7, Dawson County at number 9 is going to go to number 6 Jefferson. We are efforting Molly McCarty and Judson Hamby. That might be next week, and so we'll see what happens there. Those matchups, by the way, girls semifinals are tomorrow. So girls semifinals are tomorrow, Thursday. Boys semifinals are Friday, and so that's where we'll try and navigate the girls winners into Friday programming and the Friday noon show. We mentioned Pike County and Columbus. Matt, it is the predecessor and it's the student and the teacher, literally. So coach for Columbus, she said that she's stuck in class. We may try to tape something and have that turned later on. Union County and the other semi on the right-hand side. Caught up with Shannon Coley from Cahulla Creek on the morning show yesterday. Union County at number 7 goes to Cahulla Creek at number 3. 6-8, Denmark, West Forsyth, Walton at Harrison. And it is a private side, Holy Innocents and GAC. Lovett goes to Wesleyan. We are waiting on Fannin County and Lamar. Winner of that one takes on Thomasville. Model goes to Ace Charter. Class A D2, Irwin County goes to number 1 Screven. And number 2 Tryon is going to host Portal. Now, since we figured it out with Rob, we're going to go to Greenbrier and find out what's going on with Greenbrier, because he had another match, and this is just basically checking in and kicking the tires and making sure that the oil is where it is and that the gas tank is full. So, Rob, congratulations. We're still talking.
Thank you. We are. I mean, that's a good sign for us.
Well, and that's what I figured. When coaches come on either the morning show or the noon show, it's like, well, we won and we visited you and we won, so this means we have to keep coming on the show until something different happens.
So we'll talk on Friday again then?
Hey, man, like I said, we got noon show is ready to go, and I may have Jose Rodriguez from Meadow Creek come on Friday. I don't know what his he's got class. And so he comes on. He's come on and he's been batting leadoff. I might have you come on a little earlier. Like it'd be like Jose coming in at 9:05. You maybe at like 9:15, 9:20, because then at 9:30, traditionally we have Michael Parkhurst or Greg Garza come on.
I'll tell you what. Let's revisit this after tomorrow night's game.
Yeah, there we go. So like that's the planning part of it. All right. So what happened in the Lassiter match? You come out with the Duke 2-1, but break it down for us.
So I mean, it was a tough match. I will give Coach Robbie some very high praise. He had those girls ready to play. They had a great game plan to coming in against us. We spent pretty much most of the first half was spent on their side of the field. We had one mental breakdown that gave them a free kick, and she made a beautiful kick from the corner and just put it right in the top corner. I mean, it was beautiful. Couldn't touch it, but it was one of those self-inflicted wounds, and that's kind of what we talked about at halftime. We just said, look, the only thing that they've really been able to do is something that we did to ourselves, and they took advantage of it. So the next half is we got to essentially overcome that self-inflicted wound and take care of business and do what we need to do and know what we can do.
When you've had those, how many times have you had that discussion this season?
A few, more than a few. It feels like every time we go back and look at some of these games and these films, it's like every time we give up a goal like that, it's like, guys, that is just a mental mistake. That is either you're losing your emotions in the heat of the moment, or you just aren't thinking, or you're not aware of the game situation or something, and it's just we give up a dumb penalty, give up a dumb free kick, a dumb PK, just something. And it goes back to even the Johns Creek. We give up a PK, late there to make it closer than it should have been.
And one of the things that has stuck with me is obviously the resilience of this roster, and taking that information and embracing it and understanding. It's like, okay, but I always like to break it down where they'll learn from it, but they won't dwell on it, if that makes any sense. They'll sit there and it's like, okay, this event happened, but it's not going to be this, it's not going to be like the black cloud or, like turn you into droopy dog or anything like that. It's going to be one of those where it's like they learn from it, but they don't dwell on it.
Right. That was exactly what the message was at half, to the team as a whole. Just, can't change it. We just got to overcome it. And actually, maybe Kate Pangle was the girl who gave up the penalty or the foul. And, I took her out, and when I sat her down and talked, I said, look, there's nothing you can do that can change what just happened. You can't, there's nothing you can do. And I asked her, like, what is the only thing you can control right now? And she said, well, I don't know. I was like, the only you can control is how you respond to it. Right. Like, there's nothing else you can do about it. The way you respond dictates the way the rest of this game goes. And to her credit, she wiped her face, cleaned it up, and she came out strong, and she was a force in the second half of that first half, and then the full second half.
How many multi-sport athletes do you have on your roster?
Ooh, let's see.
Joyce D, all the above?
Pretty much. I mean, I think there might only be 2 or 3 of the girls that don't play another sport. I'm trying to think. I don't know I think some of the freshmen are single sports, but like most of them good. I think I have 9 of the girls that play flag, and then another 2 or 3 play basketball. So, I mean, they're all over the place.
Well, and the reason I ask that is because specifically, for those that may not know and are drifting into our conversation for the first time, the flag football program at Greenbrier is a deep run / championship flag football program. So you have athletes that either take their soccer experience and apply it to their flag football playoff runs, or their flag football playoff runs and drifted over to their soccer deep runs in playoffs. So the idea of understanding the pressure of the moment is there because they've seen it in other sports and they've experienced it in these other sports there on campus.
100%. Actually, I think it kind of they each build on each other. A lot of these girls, the club team they played for actually went to nationals last year. So they had some experience. They were top 4 in the national finals last year, and they bring that mentality. And then the flag football team, man, they 3 years state champions. Like that is you can't give that experience. There's nothing you can do to match that. So they know what it takes. They know the work. They know the grit. They know how to overcome adversity in the middle of a game like that. And like I said, Mamie Kate, like she was a huge part of those state champions for the flag team. And we talked to her after that foul, and she came out, and like I said, she was everywhere. She was winning every ball. She was putting people in spots to succeed. Like it's an incredible thing to see that change come over somebody when they realize, what, I've been here before. I've done this. I got it.
To see that kind of maturity and that realization obviously is key. How many of your seniors are going to the next level?
I got 3 that are signed right now.
Okay. How many seniors do you have total?
9 seniors total.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Are any of them, and let me ask this, I'm going to ask the Georgia call-up question here. Are
Okay.
any of the seniors that you have that are going to the next level, are they, you know, are they too whatever in quotation marks? Are they underappreciated? Are they being overlooked? Is it geography a hindrance to them, either getting the looks you think they deserve or the looks that, or just getting looks, period? Would anybody fit in that Georgia call-up category?
I think so. I think I don't want to say it's working against them right now, but in years past, we've always had that one standout player who scored, 30 goals, 25 goals. Even Madeline Heckathorn last year was, I think, 27 goals or something like that. And she's at like 9 this year. It's just Aaliyah Silver. She missed all of last season, with a ACL injury, and she's back, and she is an absolute terror, scoring right now. They get, I don't want to say overlooked, but they don't get as much exposure as maybe some of the schools in Atlanta would. We have to travel and see other schools, and how many college scouts are going to come over, spend 2.5, 3 hours in the car, come over here and see them in person, when you can go 10 minutes down the road and see a Johns Creek, see a Pope or a Chamblee or something like that. They're all right there. It's hard to get that exposure unless we can get them into some of the all-star games. And that's when my personal challenge is, how do I get a Madeline Heckathorn an all-star recognition if she doesn't have the stats that she maybe had last year, for example?
Right.
So that's a challenge for me, is trying to write up and talk up these players, say these players are driving our team to a Final Four, potentially more, and they're just not getting that recognition.
Okay, so then let's fix that.
Okay.
If you have, what one senior would you put to the front of that line? Would it be Madeline?
Honestly, this year it's probably Aaliyah Silver.
Okay.
She is everywhere. And if you were to watch our film from Lassiter the other night, the first half, she controlled all 22 spots on the field. I mean, she was everywhere. She was flying around. She was moving the ball, and I mean, she had a couple of near misses. And I mean, it was her against 4 or 5 defenders in some cases, and she still made them look silly.
Okay. Total package: athletics, academics, extracurricular.
Oh, 100%. She's a 3-sport athlete. She's a flag, basketball, and soccer.
Okay.
I want to say definitely 3. She's 4 years letters in varsity, at least 4 in, I want to say 4 in flag, and I think 3 in basketball.
Okay.
But like I say, missing basically her entire junior year with a knee injury, it just hurt her. She's signed at the next level, but she
Okay.
is somebody I could see. I mean, I could see going to a D1 school, P5 D1 school easily.
Okay. Grade point. You know it off the top of your head?
Ooh, I do not. I'd have to pull it up.
Okay.
I mean, she was, when I put her in on the All-Star thing, I want to say it was like 3.6.
Okay. Extracurriculars outside of athletics.
FCA, and beyond that, I don't know off the top of my head. I've got a profile on them. I'd have to go back and look. And
it's all good.
Yeah.
The reason that I gave you this pop quiz is that if it's okay, I'd like to have her be our Georgia call-up, and it would be a quick turn on the information to get it from you to us and to Maddie and to Sophia, so they could crank it out for this week and the early part of next week. Is that
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then when the morning show's over, I will send you an email, and it'll be CC'd to Maddie Cruz and Sophia Cupertino here at SDH, and we'll get all of that squared away. So it's like casual photos, athletic photos, bio, and there's a series of questions that we give to both you and to the student athlete about, what you've seen in her, what's it like to see her grow, role models for her growing up, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So if she, like I said, if you got her locked into one level right now, but you think that she's a Go 5er or a P5 in Division I, That's why we do Georgia Call-Up. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, somebody's too small, they're too whatever, they're geographically challenged. That's why we wanted to have this as a part of our thing this year. So when the 11 o'clock show is over, I'll shoot you a quick email and we can bang this one out. And so we can have that as another one of our Georgia Call-Ups. Cool?
Okay. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. So then before you go, you got to study on Pope now. Number 5, Pope heading to your place.
Yep.
What's study hall been like?
It's been tough. I mean, we're at the Final Four, so they're a quality team. They've got a couple players that are very dangerous at point of attack. We're gonna have to be on point with our defense. They're a stout team. There's at this point in the game, there's no real weakness you can look at and say that's what we got to attack. It's just we have to be on point with everything we're doing, and really we got to be perfect.
Okay. One question from the Twitch pitch, and this is from our buddy Del Schaefer, who's watching from Charleston.
Okay.
Wants to know how deep your bench is, and do all players get playing time to prep for next year?
Okay, so the bench, we have a very good bench. The weird thing for me is a lot of our immediate or the next 4 or 5 players off the bench are all freshmen. So for us, it's balancing the experience versus skill right now.
Right.
And maybe we do have a junior and that is competing for time with the freshman. Is the experience of the junior more valuable than the skill of that freshman? And that's where we're still trying to figure out some of that balance points. It's hard when we lose players for red cards or injuries, and we kind of do this shuffling of, all right, well, how do I get the best 11 on the field at the same time? And does the best 11 individual players make the best team composition? Right. Or do I need a maybe lesser skilled player to make the overall team composition stronger? So it's with the game against Johns Creek really tested us in that, actually, where we're trying to patchwork together after injuries to a couple key players and then our red cards. So and then what was the second half of the question?
No, just how deep your bench was, and do all players get the playing time to prep for next year? So I think you got it.
So we try and get as much playing time in as we can during the season. And some games are easier than others, obviously. But as soon as the club season is actually starting right now, and basically as soon as we get done, they go straight into club, and anybody who's not graduating will play between now and December, almost straight through.
Wow.
So I really won't see them again until December when club season ends. I try to leave them alone for that. I don't want to overload it. I don't want to require, hey, let's, we'll do weight room workouts and stuff. I open it up, make it optional. Anybody who's not or can do it in addition to club stuff. But at this point, getting those skills developed, I think, is super important. And hearing other voices other than us too. It's when I was playing, the more coaching, different philosophies, but the more varied coaching I got, the better I felt like I was developing.
Yeah.
It's any coach will tell you a good coach has the ability to relate something to players that they can understand and then translate it to what they do on the field. And if my language isn't getting through to a player, maybe their club coach's language does. And I need that. I want them to be able to get those other voices. So yeah, once our season ends, it's hands off, let club do club, get that extra coaching. And so those club coaches, they're high quality coaches. They're qualified, they're licensed at high levels. And I know a lot of them, and I know what they teach, and they know what I teach, and we marry up pretty well.
Good deal. I'm glad we were able to catch up, and I'm glad that we were able to help out with call up. I'll shoot you those emails after the morning show's over. So in the 11 o'clock hour, you're going to see email from me and CC'd from another couple of folks, and we'll smash that together. And I'm glad we were able to connect on that, because that's why we do call up. It's focusing on everybody from Hazelhurst to your place to, Cedartown to all points. And so that's why we wanted to bring it all together. Fantastic. What's the kickoff time?
6 o'clock tomorrow.
All right. So 6 o'clock tomorrow, number 6 Greenbrier hosting number 5 Pope in the 5A girls semis, right-hand side of the bracket as you fill it out in pen. As always, my friend, great to see you. And like I said, if you ever need a note to get back in class, or if I get you in any kind of trouble, obviously just let me know. But it's always great to see you. Good luck in the next couple of days.
Very much appreciate you, sir.
There we go. Rob Houston, head coach at Greenbrier. So we found our next Georgia call-up. All right, and I just let Maddie know. So we'll get all that boogie in, and that'll happen on the behind the scenes, and we get the bio blast and everything going on. And so that'll be our next Georgia call-up, brought to us by our friends at the Georgia Student Finance Authority and at GSN, gafutures.org. So very, very cool that we were able to do that on the fly. This is what happens when, you bring in coaches and it's just like, okay, I've got stuff to talk about. What happened with the win? What happened here? And then, oh, by the way, hey, let's have some fun. Okay. Coming up top of the hour, it's Dylan Butler. We're going to talk about everything Major League Soccer. We'll get into the week that was, get you ready for the weekend that will be. We had CONCACAF last night. You'll hear from BJ Callahan coming up after Dylan. So like I said, we got BJ Callahan, Jonathan Osorio, everything that happened yesterday, getting you ready for today. Noon show is developing into literally the Formula One pit stop. Jason Gault off the top. Then it's going to be Dustin Jeanette. Then it's going to be Justin Brantley. Then it's going to be Alex Zimmerman. So East Hall continues to win, and he's been added. Literally, it's bang, 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 4. So noon, 12:10, 12:20, 12:30. We'll go through the brackets. We'll let you know what's going on. Today is a rest day. Boys are Friday, girls are Thursday. When we know where we're going, we'll let you know, but we've got an idea. We have 2 ideas, actually, one for Thursday, one for Friday, but we'll let you know. All right, UPSL update. If you missed it, there's a really cool feature that was written over at SDH. Georgia Call-Up Dell is our way to focus on the next wave of student athletes. Okay, so let me dial it back here for a second. All right. So if you follow us on social media, and I'll give you the genesis of this. The Georgia Call-Up comes from a place where when I am doing things that have to do with high school football, FOOTBALL, what we did a couple of years ago on my work over at Georgia Public Broadcasting, we do the game of the week and the championships and all that kind of stuff for high school football. We started a segment called Make That Kid an Offer. And myself and Matt Stewart and a couple of others that are on the crew, what we wanted to do was let everyone know in the number 3 state in the country for high school football, FOOTBALL, that there are a lot of fantastic student athletes that for whatever reason aren't getting either the recruiting that the coaches feel they deserve, they aren't getting recruited at all, or there's something there, and here's an athlete that really that will do well at the next level, but they're the complete package. It is athletics, it is academics, it is extracurriculars. It's the whole AAA excellence, or AA and an E. So what we started doing was focusing on student athletes that, they might be a tweener when it comes to size. They might be, 5'11" to 6'1". They might be a receiver that's not 6'3" and 220 pounds, but they've got the numbers, and they can fit into a system really well. And they've got great academics, and they've got fantastic character. They've done the extracurriculars, and they're only being recruited to a certain level. But when you catch up with coaches, and you can't ignore numbers when it comes to statistics and GPAs and test scores and things like that, what we wanted to do with Make That Kid an Offer was blast out, hey, look at all these student athletes and take a look at them. So what we started doing here at SDH is the equivalent of Make That Kid an Offer on the soccer side. And so I'm going to post just to give you an idea. Morning, David. I'm going to give you an idea as to what that looks like, at least in a written form. So here is the last one that we did that has been posted to the network. It is Mary Person center back, Connor Vantone. And so we caught up with Jacob Haygood, the head coach at Mary Persons down in Forsyth, which is about, an hour and 15 minutes south of Atlanta. It's in between, literally, it is in between Atlanta and Macon. It is a couple of exits on I-75 South in between Macon and Atlanta. And so because Connor is in that geography it's in the in-betweens, folks like Connor Vantone, they may not get looked at because of their geography. They might have all of the particulars and the numbers and everything, but it's the geography that's holding Connor Vantone back. Catching up with his head coach, Jacob Haygood, Jacob's like, this is one of the best center backs I've ever seen. Here's what he can do out there on the field. Here's how he's matured. Here's what he's doing in the classroom. Here's what he's doing on his test scores, all of that stuff. And so it's an opportunity for us to share. And so catching up with Rob Houston, it was what we were looking for in our next Georgia call-up. And so we're going to coordinate that. And so you'll see the article about a Greenbrier student athlete coming up here probably in the next week. Next couple of days, really. But this is the last one that we did that appeared on the network. And it shows up in all of our social media and everything. And it's just a showcase of these student athletes that for whatever reason aren't getting the looks. They're not getting looks, period, or they're not getting the looks that coaches think that they deserve. Like I said, geographically challenged. I mean, Greenbrier is 2.5 hours from Atlanta. And you would have to know to go to Evans County in the Columbus area, in the Augusta area, Eastern Frontier, John. You'd have to go to Augusta. You'd have to know about Greenbrier, and you'd have to know about Rob Houston and his program. So what we're doing here is helping that aspect out. Look, it's like, look, we will take all of the labor out of the discussion. Here's your information, college coaches and recruiters. Here's someone that you might not have had the chance to see or find out about. Here's that opportunity. I mean, we had one of the leading scorers in school history in Cedartown. We've had Connor Fish-Munsiak at Jeff Davis, who has been a part of bringing that program to the fore in Class A on the boys' side. And, finding out about the growth of that program under Brian Lawson. Finding out what Rob Houston's doing at Greenbrier on the girls' side. Find out what's going on at Northwest Whitfield up in the Northwest Georgia mountains, up 75 toward Chattanooga. So it's out west toward the border. It's up north toward Chattanooga. It's out east toward Augusta. It's down south a couple of different places. It's in the Pinelands off of I-16 heading toward the coast. All these different places where you have all these great student athletes that for whatever reason they're falling unnoticed, or they're not getting as noticed as they should. That's what Georgia Call-Up is all about from our friends at GA Futures and the Georgia Student Finance Authority. So, hey, I mean, Dell, that would be fantastic if you literally, that's what this is. It is make that kid an offer. This is, hey, check out this talented student athlete. And we're taking all of that labor work away from you. College recruiters, we're doing your job for you. So, Dell, that would be fantastic. So that's what we're doing with Georgia Call-Up. And that, like I said, this is the last one that we produced, that Maddie and Sophia produced, was with Connor Vantone at Mary Persons. So now it looks like we're heading to Greenbrier for our next one. So we'll find out about that. So that's what this is all about. That's what the Georgia Call-Up is all about. Student athletes that are doing great work on the field, great work in the classroom, great work in the community, and you're getting the total package. So that's what you're staring at there. So morning, David, morning, Dell, by the way. Okay, UPSL. I wanted to get into that before we turn the page and catch up with Dylan in about 5 minutes. If you missed it, there's a great article that was posted at SDH on the website. And it is about athletes that take the circuitous route. And it's an article that was posted yesterday about Mateo Barrio from Atlanta to Argentina. And so you go from Envigado in Colombia, with Juan Fran. Back here in Georgia, he played at Pachuca under Ricardo Montoya. Went back to South America. Got into Estudiantes de La Plata. And so it's the story of Mateo Barrio heading to Aldo Civi. Estudiantes de La Plata, Pachuca, Georgia, UPSL, all the points in between. And that's why we have this relationship once again with the UPSL, because the talent is there in the UPSL as well. And it's an opportunity for us to share it with you more in Louisville. So here is the link to the article about Mateo Barrio. And our friends at ASMG TV, they're going to be very, very busy. And they have a lot of stuff going on. Let me see if I can get their broadcast schedule really quickly. Instagram, I think it's on the gram. So don't quote me yet. ASMG. Let me see. Are they on? I'm trying to figure out where it was. ASMG, yeah, Atlantic Soccer Media Group. Okay, so here's the match times for upcoming action in the UPSL. And I'm going to try and do the dreaded screen share. So if you would please, bear with me. And this is off of the gram. There's your broadcast schedule for ASMG TV and the UPSL. Remember, they had tonight at 8:30 at Tech Stadium. It is the first one with Granite City and Superior City. Then on the weekend, 3 games at once. 3 games, Chloe, 2 games at once. You can either go game 1, game 2, or game 2 and game 3. 2 of them are going on at the same time. Saturday doubleheader at Tech Stadium. It is Granite City's men and women, and it is going up against LCU and the UPSL and in the UPSL Southeast. So busy time at Tech Stadium, 6 and 8:30 on Saturday. Then Sunday you've got Georgia Conference Premier going on. So that's your programming grid for everything going on in the UPSL Southeast. So once again, UPSL Midwest and West, Granite City, Superior City. That one's at Tech Stadium at 8:30. Then on the weekend, it is doubleheader, Granite City men and women, LCUFC, and the activity there with Blackhawks as well. So Vlora, Blackhawks, and Granite City in the doubleheader. And then you have Augusta soccer team going at it at Meadow Creek on the roadie. And so busy Sunday at ASMG TV, and action tonight with Superior City and Granite City as well. So that's your rundown for the activity in the UPSL. So, if you're looking for stuff, then like I said, if you're looking for stuff, then that's where you go. UPSL, ASMG TV. Thanks to Andre and our friends over there at Atlantic Soccer Media Group. ASMG TV, your home for everything UPSL here in this particular footprint. So once again, soccerdownhere.net. You can go and catch up on Mateo Barrio and his latest, as his time in the UPSL has turned into time in South America as he continues his trade at the age of 18, trying to work his way into the next stage of his career. So that is our number one, the Fast and Furious that was the high school game. And it is it literally is Fast and Furious right now because of everything that is attached to high school, lower divisions, what's going on in the upper divisions, all the travel that's attached, all the things. And so you end up with a very, very busy time for us. We are not complaining about it being a very, very busy time at all, not by any stretch of the imagination. So literally the rundown kind of changes because of breaking news or anything like that. Oh, that reminds me, we need to have that discussion, don't we? Because we led the show off with it, but we didn't get the chance to talk about it. So let's do this. Let's do this, shall we? It is the I gotta check my breaking news here. Hang on, where is it? Here we go. Okay, Keith McCloat. Keith McCloat named Vice President, Chief Financial Officer of NWSL Atlanta 2028. We broke this news when the show started this morning before we came on and talked to Justin Osteen. So, VP, Chief Financial Officer, NWSL Atlanta 28. McCloat, according to the release, oversees all day-to-day finance and operational support functions, driving accuracy, straight down the middle, efficiency, and responsiveness across financial planning, budget, systems, reporting, and business support services. He's going to report directly to President of Soccer for AMBSE, Mauricio Culebro, and serving as a trusted financial strategic advisor and the full AMBSE leadership team, supporting short-term performance, long-term financial priorities for the club. His first day of work is Monday. And so then you get a quote from Rich McKay. Spent the last 9 years with the Mets. Most recently served as Senior Director of Financial Planning and Analysis with the club. Led budget and forecasting processes. Partnered with senior leadership and ownership to inform and execute the organization's short and long-term strategic plans. Financial advisor on special projects and initiatives across the club. Quote from McCloat. And let's see. The opportunity to build and launch an NWSL club at such a pivotal moment for both women's soccer and this city is truly an honor. Atlanta has proven soccer belongs here. Look forward to carrying out Arthur Blank's vision in support of that. Joined the Mets back in 2017 as manager of finance. He helped build the organization's newly created finance department with a focus on planning, reporting, strategic decision-making. Before that, he was with the Hearst Corporation, and he got his MBA and Bachelor's of Business Administration from Loyola, Maryland. So Keith McCloat is the VP and Chief Financial Officer for NWSL Atlanta 2028. It is hour 2, which means one thing. We go and check out what's going on with the busiest man in the Northeast, Dylan Butler, whose stadium is almost complete. Dylan Butler Estates. We're getting there. We are getting there. And we're getting this close to you having your imitation palatial estate and 22 or 3,000 of your best friends hanging out with NYCFC. So we're that close.
I'd never thought we'd get here, but
I know. It only took what?
37 years.
Yeah, it's 37 years. You are absolutely correct, sir. Were you on the desk last night?
I was.
Oh, okay. So I'll play the sound when you're done. But no, I do have sound from BJ Callahan that I will play after our time is up. But no Sam Surridge, no Eddie Tagset, and in listening to BJ Callahan after the match, he's like, "Well, look, I mean, we've done it before. We've played without Sam Surridge before." But just they couldn't get the engine turned over, and by the end of the night,
you lose Yazbek too in pregame warmups.
Pregame warmups.
Yeah.
I mean,
if that's not the sign of things not going your way. Like it's funny because you tune in. Like I tuned in after, I'm the sicko who watches Ken Champ.
No,
well,
you're not. You're not the sicko. You're a sicko, sir.
So perhaps my favorite cup competition is Can Champ.
Mm-hmm.
So I watch that. I tune in, and you hear Yazbek is out. It's 90 degrees. Like you're like, no, this is not going to end well.
And then Andy Nahar got dinged up, I think, during the match.
Yeah.
So it was an adventure of the highest order. They had Madrigal starting with Hani Mukhtar up top, and it was Muil and Corcoran and Acosta and Espinosa, and we know that BJ will turn the dial one slot, and then Espinosa will come up, and it'll end up being 3 in the attack or more. And it was goalless, and they just weren't able to get the engine turned over. Tigres gets the goal with about 20 to go, and that was pretty much all she wrote. So Tigres,
yeah. I mean, their best chances were a deflected shot that lands in the top netting and a near own goal. Like, and that was, really it for Nashville. And then just like a weird sequence, right? Like where it's a failed clearance, like, or a shanked clearance, right? That goes out, and then on the throw in, it's not defended and 2 guys fall. Like it's like Keystone Cops ish.
Very Benny Hill-ish kind of thing.
Yes.
Hackney sacks under the highlight package. That's how it would go.
And that was all she wrote there. But, I think it speaks to, look, I think again, when you're in these situations and you realize that you've got to go to Mexico,
Mhm.
you go back home and like you've got to get a goal, right? Like you've got to level that or do what LAFC did, at least have a lead after the first leg if you're going to be home in the first leg. So fair play to them. It was a great run, a historic one as well for getting the win in Mexico
Mhm.
against Club America. But, I think that's a team, and you could probably say it about most. I mean, maybe LAFC could be the difference because they didn't have Bawanga in the first leg and they did what they did. But
Mhm.
I think it just speaks like you need to have a full strength squad and you need to be absolutely clinical in your chances. Like if you have a chance, it's got to be finished. The margins are so slim, and I think it's lessons to be learned for Nashville, no doubt.
Yep. And then tonight, in addition, so are you on the desk tonight?
I am not.
Okay, so then you get Can Champ that goes into the other CONCACAF semi.
The
So
Calgary Blizzard.
yes, the Calgary Blizzard against CF Montreal at Stade Saputo. So that's at 7:30. Where
It's gonna be 0 for 2 for.
what is the Calgary Blizzard anyway?
I mean,
Calgary,
it's
Calgary Blizzard FC. Now, because I had to put the FC in there because if you just go Calgary Blizzard, it'll go, all the way through.
so while you're doing that search, I did a search last night and I went to the Atletico Ottawa
Yeah.
main page.
Uh-huh.
And you know what their next promotion is for the next home game?
Why?
Do I want to ruin it or do you want to look it up?
Oh, well, no, I've got the Calgary Blizzard, so I'm ready to go.
All right. So
Calgary Blizzard are in the Alberta Premier League. They're in League One Alberta, semi-pro. They add a men's team. Yeah, so they're semi-pro Alberta, and in 2024, the women's team, which is not competing in Can Champ at the moment, they won the league title qualifying for the League One Canada Women's Interprovincial Championship. So that's where. So the men are in League One Alberta, as are the women. The women have been back-to-back champs in League One Alberta, and the men's team were champs at 10-5-1 last year in League One Alberta. And tonight they go to Stade Saputo to take on CF Montreal. So let's see, Atletico Ottawa. So you wanted me to check out Atletico Ottawa.
Yep.
Where we got the very, very rare Balu Tabla sighting, and then B, the Balu Tabla natural hat trick.
Yep.
Oh,
they have a good promotion for their next home match.
Toonie hot dog. Sunday, May 17th at TD Place. It is the Toonie hot dog as the Halifax Wanderers come to town.
Yep.
I have to click on this. And it's just going to, it gets me straight to Ticketmaster. I don't want the ticket. I want the explanation of the frickin'.
Well, it's like our $1 hot dog night, right? Like
I would hope.
Theirs is a Toonie.
Oh, the Toonie dog. See, that if you go $2 hot dogs, I wonder if you got a loony dog or a Toonie dog, if it would be like differences in size or something.
Oh yeah, probably.
So yeah, loony dog. Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. God, I want a hot dog right now. So the Toonie dog, May 17th for Atletico Ottawa. Yeah, Balu Tabla, of all people.
Yeah, remember him?
Gets with CF Montreal. The natural hat trick for Atletico Ottawa, and TFC gets bounced from Can Champ. I was looking at some of the media reports out of Toronto after last night. Safe to say that, yes, the gripping is at the +3 of the VU meter. I mean, it is pegging right now when it comes to what we're seeing out of Toronto FC and the responses therein. They brought up 5 call-ups, I think, for the roster and the match, and then you get bounced on a Balu Tabla natural hat trick. I will ask you, sir, where do you think Toronto is right now? Uh-huh.
I mean, what are they? Winless in 5 in MLS?
Sounds about right.
Now, there's been some terrific chaos for sure.
Absolutely.
Goalie goals and all kinds of wild scenes up there at BMO, but but the wins haven't happened. And then yeah, like you're what, 8-time champs in this, and you bow out in the preliminary rounds.
Oh. So is the gripping justified right now? Is it DEFCON 5 scramble the bomber?
No, I don't think it's that. I don't know which DEFCON.
Okay, so they in league they have drawn 4 of 5. So Toronto has drawn 4 of their last 5. The other one was the loss to Atlanta United.
Right.
So in league they've drawn 4 of 5 in their last 5 matchups. 1-1 to FC Cincinnati.
All at home too.
Oh, yes. Yes. So you draw San Jose, you lose to Atlanta in the monsoon. That came at you in centimeters. Toronto drew Philly, drew Austin, back-to-back 3-3 games, and then the 1-1 to FC Cincinnati. So, yeah, you are, with all of that, you're 3-5-3, and you are in 8th right now at 14 points behind on goal difference. So, yeah, all of this is at home because they gave you that schedule because of the Cup the World is chasing after, and you're not taking advantage of it.
Yeah, no, not good. And with the rivalry, like, you would suspect that they would love the attention to draw back towards Montreal today. Like, if the Calgary Blizzard could have a blizzard of goals scored.
See now, all right. So see now, I'm on a Dairy Queen Blizzard now. See, we go from the Toonie Dog to the Dairy Queen Blizzard. Where they test the thickness of the blizzard by turning it upside down with the spoon in it. That's how they test the thickness of the dessert.
Huh.
And then you sit there and go, "Give me that," and you finish it in about 15 seconds. It is. You're not taking advantage of this at home. You bring in Josh Sargent, you get the Josh Sargent bump, but then it gets figured out, and you got injuries, and it is right now. Robin Fraser is. I would imagine Robin Fraser is not having a fun time right now.
No, yeah, and it's from a PR marketing standpoint, it stinks, right? Because
oh boy,
you want to capitalize on the momentum of a World Cup in your city, right? And you want people who are maybe going to be new to the sport, or they want to see their first match. Like, you want them to come to a TFC match, and you need to be playing well, around the World Cup, and they're not, certainly.
No, they are not. Looking at obviously what happened last week in the Eastern Conference, there are teams that are having you scratch your head because you don't know which one you're getting. It literally is box of chocolates time. In the Sean Johnson Memorial Derby, DC United shuts out NYC, and it was not at the 106/68. It was at the slightly larger over at Citi Field.
Next door to my estates.
This is what I'm saying. See, do you want this product in your building, sir? Do you want what we saw from NYC against
this current iteration? No. It's what are they now? 7 games winless, I think. 7 or 8 at this moment. Yeah, not a ringing endorsement.
Oh man. So in their last 5, as they are 9th, once again, they have lost 4 of 5. They have 1 point in their last 5 matches, and it is the 4-4 draw that they had with Cincinnati 2 weeks ago, almost in the midweek. Other than that, it has been they have bracketed that draw with 2 losses on each side, and yeah, they're at 12 points. They're in 9th, but they're ahead of 2 teams on goal difference, and it is not fun right now at NYC. And I just noticed this: one of the teams that they are tied with in points is the team that plays in New Jersey, and they've given up 27 goals in 11 matches. Red Bulls have given up 27 goals. I mean, Purple Team has given up 32. They've also won 2 of 3, but to get to 10 points. So you've got a defense, and I use that word just in in literal terms, where Red Bulls have given up 27 goals, and they have the next to last. They have the next to last worst. Is that right? Next to last worst. Worst
Next to last.
Second worst. There we go. Second worst.
Yeah.
So they have the second worst defense right now in the Eastern Conference at 27 goals allowed, compared to the purple team who gave up 32, and they gave them up in bunches, and that was why Oscar Pareja got jammed. What is going on with Red Bulls other than it's like what is up with your defense, sir? You've lost 3 of 4. What's going on over in New Jersey?
Yeah, and then that gets compounded with like the first knockout competition loss to your rivals in blue, right? So that stings as well for the fans, some of whom they've already got the pitchforks out.
Oh, they do.
The honeymoon, the honeymoon for Michael Bradley is apparently over for some of the fan base.
Seriously, they're over Michael Bradley.
Not all, some.
So you have some that are over and done with the baby Bulls approach.
There was some talk that the fans in the supporters group were upset and they wanted to voice their displeasure and be heard from the team, and Michael Bradley wasn't part of that, like going over to the supporter section kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Philly still continues to struggle. You want to talk about a team that's really come out of the blocks, and you want pitchforks.
What an area, huh? Like right now, like in that I don't know, what is it? Maybe like was it 100 miles? Maybe, probably radius between like NYCFC to Red Bull to Philly. That's
take the train, and it ain't worth it.
Oof.
That is just that is some. How do we phrase it? That is a train ride that you don't want to take, man. What's that like? If you work in New York City and you're having to take the train home to Philly right now, that train ride is not a fun train ride to take. I mean, you've only.
And if you're a Sixers fan, it's even.
Oh man, that is. I'm not an NBA guy, and I don't profess to be anymore. But I mean, when you have
these Knicks are doing it's crazy.
I mean,
right now.
I can't. I'm still. Oh, okay. So since you went there, let me go here. What is your favorite John Sterling memory?
Good one. Favorite John Sterling I mean, there's so many, because like I'm of the age where I remember on the radio it was him and Michael Kay. It was before Susan Waldman came in.
Oh, John.
And it was and they they split the game, right? Like Kay would do whatever innings as play-by-play, and Sterling would do whatever innings. So I go back to that. I mean, like a Tino Martinez home run. No, you know what? I think my first favorite catchphrase of his. Because I don't know if it's like it's an individual moment. I do have favorite Yankee moments, but like it was maybe "Burn Baby Burn," like for Bernie Williams.
Burn Baby Burn. Yeah,
that was so cool. I thought, he became a caricature of himself later in his broadcasting career. Obviously, just feeling he needed to get a catchphrase for everybody. But that, like early on, I thought was like authentic with that group, and that was that was probably my favorite of the catchphrases, I think. But like, I mean, I went to the Yankees put out, I don't know if you saw it, but a really, really cool video of so many of his iconic calls.
Oh, wow.
Highly recommended. It's probably still pinned by them on X, but it was, all the moments. And like, I was at if you remember, it was the World Series right after the World Trade Center against Arizona. and the Brocious home run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was actually there. I was in the left field bleachers for
Oh
that
wow. Okay.
for that game. Yeah, it was. So I didn't obviously hear it happen, but then, like, to see that, be part of it, and the the perfect games from Cone and Wells
Yeah.
that he called, and I know that he was probably as beloved in Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
before his time up here in New York, and I think look, you could love him, you could hate him, but there's no doubt that he was unique
Mm-hmm. No question.
in what he did. And he was true to that as well. Like, that was who he was. Like, like, we're both in this business, and I try to carve out my own niche when I call, like, a lacrosse game and my goal calls, and I just scream a guy's name, and it's like, it's become my thing a little bit, or I'll yell out pole goal for a long pole goal, or
Ah.
um but that's what Sterling did. Like, he separated himself from the hundreds, or whoever that do this, right? Like, there was no, you knew you were listening to John Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's he'll certainly be missed, and I think the Yankees, again, love him or hate him, I think they do these kind of things right. Like, they had a really cool moment um just after he had died, where it was Michael Kay and Susan Waldman. It was a really cool picture. They were right behind home plate, and the flowers were on home plate. And they had a moment of silence for him at the stadium. And yeah, like, I'm so glad to have lived during a time where I heard Phil Rizzuto on television, like, his calls, and then Sterling on the radio, and then uh yeah, I mean, it's just, it's it's a great, he was awesome.
What folks may not know is that before he went up there, he was down here, and
Yeah.
you had Steve Holman and John Sterling.
He did basketball games too, right?
Yeah, he did basketball on TV. Holman did radio, and Sterling did Braves, and he did basketball on TV. And this was when you really didn't have all of the big media deals that you had and everything. And it was on one of the independent stations here in town, like high up on the, like TV 69. They were an independent. They did like music videos and Superstars of Wrestling and all this kind of stuff. And they did the Atlanta Hawks. And one of the games that always sticks with me is when Sterling did play-by-play, and this was when Atlanta wasn't drawing here in Atlanta because they were, well, awful.
The Hawks or Braves?
Hawks.
Yeah.
And so the Hawks weren't drawing at the Omni, so what they wanted to do was have home games in the Southeast. And so they would go to Lakefront Arena in New Orleans and have home games there, and they would be broadcast on local television back here in Atlanta. And one of those games was when Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins had a duel. Basically, they were playing horse, and it was at Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, and John was on the call for that. And it's like, baseline, bang, Bird goes back the other way. Dominique comes down, dunk. Then Bird comes back, lines up for a three, and literally it was anything you can do. And it was to have Sterling on that call from the Lakefront Arena. You would have thought that maybe if you'd have had the Celtics in Atlanta at the Omni, that folks would have come to go see it. But they decided to have that game at Lakefront Arena in New Orleans to try and expand their audience base. And John was part of that call on TV 69. And so you had John as a part of things on, on TBS and doing the Hawks and all this kind of stuff. And so you had literally those two icons, Steve Holman and John Sterling, doing basketball in this market at one time. And so
that's awesome.
You got to know Sterling on two different ways before he went up to New York.
Dominique Wilkins, by the way, was my first favorite NBA player. Like, I was a Hawks before I became a Knicks fan. I was actually like a Hawks fan because of Dominique Williams.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was,
The
when
first ever game I went to was like I don't even know what year it might have 89, maybe around there, right? Like it was Hawks at the Garden. It was MLK Day afternoon, an afternoon game. So I was able to go as a young kid to watch the Hawks and Knicks.
Okay. Before we turn the page on this week, I got a couple of games. And by the way, we just got the word from CNN that Ted Turner has passed at the age of 87.
Wow.
87. That was crazy. I didn't realize that he was 87. This week, you got a couple of games to kind of keep an eye on. It is interesting with Charlotte and Cincinnati that they're going at it. Charlotte wondering whether or not Wilf Zaha is going to stay. If you look at Wilf Zaha's wife on social media, she's like saying goodbye already. Might be just her. Cincinnati, you don't know which version of Cincinnati you're going to get.
Evander's starting to heat up. Right? Gets a hat trick. Had scored before that as well. Like, so you were wondering, like, kind of where's Evander, and he's hitting his form right now. So, yeah, for sure, that's an interesting one. Yeah.
Revs are hosting Philly. Revs are favored at home, slightly, but still favored, with Philadelphia trying to figure out how they're going to score and maybe defend a little better, but maybe score a little more.
And Carlos Gil is kind of quietly having a really solid start of the year for him.
And that's the thing. It's like now Carlos Gil is more a guy. He's more point guard than he is shooting guard. And he's giving up those opportunities to folks like Turgeman and that front line that's there for Marko Mitrovic now. And Gil is just a happy sitting there, almost being a distributor. He's got the assists are up here, goals aren't as much, but still, if the end result is they're putting the ball in the net, doesn't necessarily matter. He's just contributing now in different ways.
No, for sure. Like, and I think having maybe that pressure off of his back, right, of having to try to carry this whole team, I think has allowed him to maybe play more freely.
Yes, and so you're seeing that from New England. RSL's at Dallas. That one's on the weekend. We get to see what RSL continues to do with all of their young guys. Nashville comes back to town after the loss, short rest, and here comes DC.
Yeah.
DC, get this. DC is a plus 500. They're a plus 500 going to Nashville after what Nashville just went through last night in CONCACAF. So draws a plus 309. If I was a juice boxing sort, I might look at that draw option with folks. I'm just saying. Then I'm like Vancouver and San Jose. That's the late one on. Do you have the desk on Saturday?
Both days.
Oh, okay.
Saturday, Sunday, and I'm interested too in I was on this past Sunday. And witnessed Austin's second straight 2-0, and also they got their the band back together a little bit. Where great to see Brandon Vasquez back,
U.S. Open Cup hero Brandon Vasquez, sir.
Owen Wolf, Danny Pareja, they all came back from injury. So now you add some more minutes to them, and both of their last two wins were at Q2, so now they have to go on the road to take on Minnesota. So that will be interesting, I think, as well on Sunday.
Yep. San Jose, Vancouver. I'm intrigued.
Yes.
That one with being the late one. I need to ask you about the latest Vancouver stuff that we're hearing, and just you got a lot of folks sitting there pointing at Vegas, and it's like the pointing is getting louder. But, I'm still trying to figure out, okay, how can this work locally? But a lot of folks have to come together. Provincial government's got to get involved because they own BC Place. And I think this is the only situation where that exists in North America, where the provincial government owns the building, and trying to find out, okay, what's the price tag? How can we do this? How can we make it work? I still think it's going to be a First Nations thing out in the suburbs, out at Hastings, but that's just me. But all the noise around Vancouver gets louder and louder, but the guys on the field just keep doing their thing. and are still one of the best teams in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and again, maybe you hope this is a situation where, let's hang tight a little bit here. World Cup happens, ride that momentum, and let's keep the Whitecaps where they belong, right? Like, let's just get in a room and figure it out.
Yes.
However it has to be, let's all agree, like, we want this club to stay where they are.
Yeah. And, because if you're from a league perspective, if you were to have them move, all you would get is a reload fee. You wouldn't get an expansion fee. And it would be just a reload fee in addition to moving, and it wouldn't be as beneficial in a financial sense to the league as it would be if you had just somebody new there and worked out things either at Allegiant or at a new $50 billion facility or whatever, seating 11 billion people and being there for Las Vegas in Major League Soccer. All right, so you're on the desk both days.
Yes.
What else is going on in the universe of the busiest man in the Northeast?
Had a lacrosse game yesterday. Have one on Thursday. Rivalry game, Massapequa, Farmingdale, next door, towns next to each other, don't like each other. Always fun. And then I've got 2 games on Saturday. Both at the same place, thankfully, at St. Anthony's High School. Boys play Stepinac, the girls play New Canaan from Connecticut. And then a big one. We could talk more about it next week too, but next Wednesday is the Catholic Championship, Chaminade St. Anthony's at Hofstra. I think right now, USA Lacrosse Magazine, our poll has St. Anthony's at 7 and Chaminade at 13 in the country. So it's the big one. We're gonna go all out. We'll have a high pod camera behind the net. We'll have an on-field camera. We'll have a sideline, your favorite sideline reporter, who's graduating from high school now. So yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Very cool.
All there on the Varsity Media on the YouTubes.
Yes, absolutely. As always, my friend, it's great to see you and see what's going on in the world of the Varsity Media YouTubes and the lacrosse and everything going on in Major League Soccer. Wall Pass Wednesday. Please continue. We will catch up with you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. Dylan Butler, MLSsoccer.com. And Dylan gets to hang out with us and puts up with our shenanigans. Yeah, Ted Turner passed away at the age of 87 and battling Lewy body dementia. And he's been doing so for 6 years. And if you have the opportunity, Jason is recommending that you watch the HBO Max documentary. So the HBO Max documentary is the required viewing for all of us with Ted Turner. I mean, here's a guy who was completely and totally ahead of his time. I mean, think about this. Founder of TNT, TBS, CNN, Cartoon Network, owned the Hawks, the Braves, the Thrashers, WCW, Ted's Montana Grill, TV6, co-creator of Captain Planet and the Planeteers. You had all of that. Then you had everything that he did with WTBS. And you had the Braves and the Turner Broadcasting System. Founded CNN in 1980. Purchased what would eventually be WTBS. It was WTCG at the time. They founded CNN in 1980. Launched the Goodwill Games as a charitable arm for athletic competition. Purchased Jim Crockett Promotions, rebranded it as WCW. Won the America's Cup as Captain Outrageous. Largest private landowner in the U.S. until John Malone passed him 15 years ago. And it's wild to think about everything that he did that moved sports forward, moved media forward. I mean, who honestly in 1980 thought that a 24-hour news network was needed? Ted Turner did. And then he would go and do CNN2, which would eventually be CNN Headline News. And then you had Airport Network, and then you had En Español, and then you had all of those that were spin-offs of that original idea. Started buying TV stations in the late 60s, bought radio stations, and then in 1969, he flipped the radio and went into television. Watch this channel grow. I'd forgotten that. WTCG, Channel 17. Watch this channel grow. Launched a bunch of reruns. Andy Griffith, Hazel, Star Trek, Gilligan's Island. And part of what we do is because of him. We start the show 5 minutes after the hour because of Ted Turner. Ted Turner noticed that everybody was having their commercials on at the same time. Everybody's on at top of the hour. Everybody's on at bottom of the hour. So what Ted Turner did is he slid his on-air programming grid 5 minutes. So that way, when all of the big channels and networks are in commercials and you're flipping channels because you don't want to see the commercial, hey, what's going on here on Channel 17? They've got programming. I'm going to stay. It gave people a reason to stay and watch TBS. I mean, to buy the Braves in 76, buy the Hawks in 77, once again, to give programming to his own networks. There was a time in the 70s when the Braves were so bad, to get noticed, what he wanted to do was have players with nicknames on the backs of their jerseys. So it wasn't Dale Murphy, it was Murph. And this was at home. So Jerry Royster was Jaybird. Gene Garber was Gino. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to. Daryl Chaney was Nort. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just remember Nort. And then he signs Andy Messersmith to a free agent deal from his time. I think he was coming from the Dodgers at this point. And so he signs him, has him wear number 17, and he wanted to have the name on the back of the Messersmith jersey be Channel. That's the kind of guy that Ted Turner was. Then he, because it was WTCG, that in 78 he strikes a deal with MIT, the student-run station there had WTBS. And so pays them $50,000, turns WTCG into WTBS, and then obviously TBS. Turner Field, obviously named for him. CNN, 24-hour news channel. 1980. I know some of my dearest friends are originals from that time, working in the mansion on Techwood Drive. And they talked about just how crazy it was and how it's like, yeah, we're going to go and cover this and cover this and cover this, and we're going to be here forever. They were the ones that still covered space shuttle launches live. All the other networks, because they were routine, they kind of show the launch and then go away. CNN had their dedicated reporters and their dedicated anchors. Tom Mintier, I think, was the dedicated space reporter at the time, space anchor. So Mintier would be there for launches. And because of their attention to news and to programming, they were the ones that kept showing the space shuttle launches live. Then when you have your space shuttle disaster, sadly, CNN's right there. They're live and they're off and running with it. Everybody else is having to play catch up. So he was proving in instances, in sometimes sad instances, that 24-hour news cycles, there's always something going on. There's always something that needed to be covered. And it gave folks a chance to create and go and cover things and give depth to reporting. So you end up with the creation of CNN and all of that, purchased MGM UA Entertainment in 1986. Turner Entertainment established in 86, got MGM's library. Introduced TNT in 88 with Gone with the Wind. That was how he brought TNT programming on. You remember Turner South? Turner Classic Movies. 1990 creates the Foundation. Philanthropic grants concerning issues involving the environment, overpopulation, and such. And then you end up with acquiring Paramount Pictures in 93, then the Time Warner merger in 96. Remained as vice chair. Succeeded in 2001. And Time Warner was purchased by AOL back in 2001 there. And so you have all of this rivalry, all of this stuff, the ownership of the sports franchises. Ted Turner, 87 years young, battling Lewy body dementia for the last 6 years. So, yeah, that's what, legitimately, that's what Ted Turner brought to the table. Ushered in an entirely new era in television and was able to do a lot of different philanthropic things and own franchises and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Ted Turner at the age of 87. And that is your and so if you find the HBO Max documentary, Jason's recommending you go see that. All right, now that was breaking news that happened, and everyone's going to be talking about Captain Outrageous for the day, and we'll find out what everybody is looking like and what their thoughts are on Ted Turner and passing. I don't think that we will fully understand the impact that he had on this business and on sports for quite some time. The man has certainly lived a life, I'll tell you that. Age of 87. Okay. Let's get into what happened. We were getting into the discussion with Dylan Butler about what happened yesterday. We mentioned first and foremost the sickos in the preliminary stage in the Canadian Championship, the Can Champ, and you had a big win for Atletico Ottawa, 3-1 over Toronto at BMO last night, by the way. And you end up with a goal on the board in the 16th minute by Toronto. But then the rest of it, you get to 20 minutes to go, and Balu Tabla scores 3 times in 25 minutes. One was an, oh, by the way, penalty at 90+6. 3-1 win for Atletico Ottawa in the Can Champ. Toronto FC is bounced. Bounced out, done, gone, see you later, wouldn't want to be you. So that's kind of where we are with that. And so after the match last night, Jonathan Osorio was asked about it, and here was his response, courtesy of our friends at One Soccer.
Sean, disappointing night, disappointing results. What are your emotions after a game like that and a result like that?
Yeah, disappointment. I really feel disappointment, a bit of embarrassment. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one, and just want to say, first and foremost that on behalf of the team, to the fans, we are very sorry. It was not a result or a performance worthy of this club. We know that. Saying that, I want to say congratulations also to Ottawa. I think, they had a game plan, and they took their chances when they got them, and so congratulations to them, and they deserve to go through. And I wish them the best for the rest of the tournament. For us, it's about turning it around quickly, because what's happened has happened. We have to learn, and we have to quickly turn to Saturday.
And so when you quickly turn to Saturday and you have your matinee, guess who's coming to town? Messi and friends. An angry Messi and friends team heads to BMO. Right now, juice boxes have that at an even money plus 100. Toronto FC is a dog, by the way, to plus 229. Your draws plus 300. We'll see if those numbers change. But right now, an angry Messi and friends group taking on Toronto FC, who loses to Atletico Ottawa in the Can Champ. That's going to be your leadoff game on Saturday afternoon. So Jonathan Osorio is saying that they need to focus and turn the page toward Saturday. You have today, which is probably going to be something akin to a light workout day. Thursday would be more workouts, heavier practice. Friday, kind of a tune-up. And then Saturday at 1 o'clock, so 1:10, is going to be Messi and friends visiting town to take on you at your place. I'm intrigued. I want to see where this goes. Speaking of which, on Friday morning, 10 o'clock, Ramsey Sandoval is going to join us from Apple TV. So it'll be we are ushering in on purpose a lot of first-timers this year when it comes to our visits from Apple TV. Had a couple of thoughts and choices, and Ramses and Michele Giannone are going to be part of the club, a part of the team that's going to be broadcasting Atlanta and LAG. And so Ramsey Sandoval is going to be joining us at 10 o'clock on Friday morning. So we had Lori Lindsay last week. We've got Ramsey Sandoval this week. And so there are a couple of folks when we have these discussions with our friends at Major League Soccer. Well, who do you want in this week? Well, is there anybody new that needs to get reps? And so we have an Ed Ramsey Sandoval in. So Ramsey Sandoval is going to be joining us at 10 o'clock on Friday morning. Remember, no SDHAM tomorrow, no red clay tomorrow because of the groundbreaking of the National Training Center for U.S. Soccer. So we'll all be down there getting material, and keep an eye out on your socials for everything that we turn and post and let you know what's going on there. So we'll keep an eye on all of that. Also, since we discussed what was going on last night with Nashville, losing 1-0 in CONCACAF, and Tigres moves on. And I wonder, with a certain contract that Tigres has on the books, if they make it to a final, does that individual, does Gignac make it back? Does Gignac make it back on the bench? Does he get a place in the final? That would be an interesting question for me to see if Gignac has a place. Yep, and I still can't believe, Ricky, that he was 87. That's what gets me. But when you think about someone who's been in this business as long as he has, and CNN has posted their rather large obit. But yeah, I mean, when you think about everything that he has done for the industry, for sports, for the growth of both, from the 80s to today, then I think that we're going to sit there and we'll be thinking for a very long time, and then something else will pop up and go, oh yeah, Ted Turner. Oh yeah, Ted Turner. But yeah, he was legend without a doubt, Ricky, no question about it. Then we also mentioned what was going on in CONCACAF. I wonder if Tigres, now that they have advanced, if they're going to have Gignac as a part of their proceedings. I just wonder. So this is BJ Callahan once again after the match last night, and this was in the post-game media scrum. He was asked about what Tigres was doing to kind of hamstring them and opportunities that were missed. And so this is BJ Callahan after last night.
BJ, at times it seemed like the players were really frustrated with what was going on the pitch, whether with each other or with the referee, more than usual. What do you think caused that, and do you think that had an effect on the performance?
No, I mean, I think it's just an emotional game, and both teams are playing, I think, sometimes at a really high tempo, and there was duels and second balls, and so I mean, this is a semifinal leg, and both teams are going after it. So I think it's normal, and of course, when you're not creating goal scoring chances and you're down 1-0, like, I think that frustration is because guys are really competing hard to try and get the equalizer.
And what did Tigres do to prevent you guys from playing your game? Because I'm assuming that's not exact. You said you relied on crosses. Was that something they did, or was that something you guys could have done better?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the first half, I thought they did a really good job of finding moments to kind of press us pretty high. They did a really good job doing that, and the times that we were able to then get into the final third, I thought we could have maybe been a little bit more composed, got more numbers in into the attack, maybe more numbers into the penalty box, and so again, just being a little bit more patient. In the second half, I thought we were in our attacking half for a long periods of time, but of course it's hard to break down, and I thought they defended the wide areas with numbers really well, and had numbers inside the penalty box, and we weren't sharp enough in the middle area to kind of draw them out.
BJ Callahan after the match last night, losing 1-0, 2-0 in the aggregate. So great run for Nashville SC. No Eddie Tagset, no Sam Surge going in, getting Patrick Yazbek injured in pregame warmup, getting Andy Nahar injured in match. I wonder what it's going to look like, and that's why when Dylan was on, I wondered what it was going to look like when we are looking at the juice boxes being what they are and what the lineup's going to look like. It's stunning to me that DC United's at a plus 500. Nashville is such a prohibitive favorite with all the injuries, and coming around on a quick turn from playing in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza to what is going to be happening this weekend. While, yes, it is at Geodis in an 8:25 start on Big FOX, I just wonder what Nashville's going to look like. I really do. So that is BJ Callahan after the match. So tonight, it is, once again, Can Champ, and we did get to talk about it a little bit. League One Alberta's Calgary Blizzard going up against the club of the evening. I mean, this literally is CF Montreal going up against Calgary Blizzard tonight in the Can Champ. Will we get the same kind of chaos? I don't think so. But I am intrigued. Let me check the juice boxes on this one. Montreal hosting Calgary Blizzard at home. So do we have all right, so we'd have to be North America because it's not listed. Canada is not listed in its own thing. So North and Central America, they just go CONCACAF Champions Cup. They don't have, and Toluca, by the way, favorite at home in the match, down a goal 2-1. So LAFC to win tonight is a plus 650, draws a plus 390, and CONCACAF's home team Toluca is a minus 213. So let me see if they have. So North and Central America, they don't have anything. And nothing across the board. So World. How about World? No, World Cup. Okay. So CanChamp doesn't even rate when it comes to our friends at Odds Portal when it comes to numbers. So anything is possible tonight, and we will see what it looks like. So Champions League, obviously, later today. Arsenal wins at a minus 167. Bayern right now listed as the same, 3 o'clock kick, Eastern time. PSG to win today is plus 333. Remember, it was 5-4 last time out. I don't know if they get to 9 goals. If they do, I don't know how many of us are going to need help from EMTs by the time this whole 180 minutes is done. But, yeah, Bayern Munich, PSG, Bayern Munich favored today at a minus 167, draws a plus 450. So keep an eye on that. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Brought to us by our friends at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. And that link is important, helps them, helps us, and helps you. Add to the streaming services that you may have. And you're wondering, hey, how can I watch more stuff in South America? You can do that at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. So you get all the BNs, and I mean all the BNs. So that means you get access to the Turkish League, the French League, and the Polish League. Polish League coming down to the wire also. And you get Libertadores, Sudamericana, you get CATV links, Tigo Sports, you get the LPF out of Argentina, first division there. You get TVV added out of Venezuela if you want. You get CDO out of Chile, TIC with their great reporting out of Argentina. You get a lot of the country's A and B divisions in South America on Fanatis. And so it is there available for you with all the BNs. You also get everything out of Africa. You get AFCON, CAF, Champions League, all the things. You get that on qualifying. It's all there on at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. So today, Libertadores and Sudamericana on BN and BN Espanol. Libertadores at 6, Sudamericana, Botafogo, our friends at Botafogo, against Racing Club at 8:30, and Alianza Atletico and America de Cali is at 10 o'clock. CBS, big CBS, has Champions League today with Bayern Munich and PSG. FS1 has Champions League with Toluca and LAFC. Can Champ is on FS2 tonight, by the way, and at One Soccer. You can subscribe there at onesoccer.ca. Fox Deportes has the Honduran League tonight at 10:15. Tuda NA has your Champions League CONCACAF doubleheader. Unimas is simulcasting Champions League. Univision is simulcasting the UEFA Champions League. 2 matches in League One tonight on the Plus: Charlotte, Boise, Fort Wayne, and Portland. Fox ONE has Canadian, has the Can Champ, and they've got CONCACAF. Paramount Plus has Champions League. Women's side has midweek NWSL on CBS Sports Network at 10 o'clock. And then the ESPN on the Plus. Super League has Brighton and Arsenal, and the Northern Super League with Ottawa and Vancouver. That one is at 7 o'clock. And once again, go to Fanati's for all those things. Trust me, go and you will get all the matches, and you'll sit there and turn into the true sicko that a lot of us are when it comes to all of the stuff that Fanati's has to offer, especially out of South America. Now, it is gossip, rumor, and innuendo, since we already went into what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Diego Simeone admits that there are no excuses, as Arsenal has eliminated Atleti. And so we'll keep an eye on that. Neymar has apologized for slapping Robinho Jr., saying it's, quote, part of the game. And apparently look for some folks to exit for Barca to be able to rebuild. So the roster may not look the same heading into the 2026 season. So your gossip, rumor, and innuendo that came out this morning. The trending rumors: Manchester United Athletic in a race to land Ederson out of Atalanta, according to Matteo Moretto. Ready to leave Italy, and his club want a fee of around 50 million euro. Brazil International only has a year left on his deal. Abola claims that United want to bring in Lyon winger Afonso Moreira. He's impressed in Ligue 1, 8+11 in 35 matches, and could be available for 25 million euro. Chelsea are in talks over the signing of Cologne winger Said Al-Mallah, according to Bild's Christian Falk. 12+4 in 32 Bundesliga matches this year. Blues have joined Brighton in registering interest in the U21 international for Germany. Both clubs have been informed that an offer worth 50 million euro would be enough to secure the deal. Cologne are prepared to offer him a new contract if the valuation isn't met. Real Madrid interested in Juve forward Kenan Yildiz, according to Gazzetta dello Sport. Los Blancos have reportedly ID'd him as a dream signing. Could be on their short list in the summer as they look to turn things around after La Liga and Champions League. Previously linked to Chelsea, recently signed a 4-year deal that secures his future until the summer of 2030 at Juve. But remember, when we sign contracts to this length, what does that mean? You control the asset. Doesn't mean that you're going to hang on to him for that whole time. It just means you're in control of the asset. You get something for it in return. PSG have made an inquiry to sign Michael Olise from Bayern. Reportedly, that Bayern has informed PSG they have no plans to let him go, set to offer a huge new contract to keep him there. Real Madrid, Barcelona believed to be keeping tabs on the situation. Liverpool also been linked, obviously, as a successor to Mo Salah. Barcelona joined the race to sign Junior Krupi from Bournemouth, according to Sky, recently linked to Manchester City, reported to have been tracked extensively this year by Barcelona. Cherries are expected to dismiss any interest. Team talk says PSG forward Gonzalo Ramos has emerged as an option for Barca as an alternative, possibly to Joao Pedro. Neymar could move to FC Cincinnati, according to TalkSport. And we got to look at this one. Neymar and FC Cincinnati. It's not the first time that this has popped up, but now you have Lee Davey at TalkSport. Casemiro linked to either Messi and Friends or LAG. Remains at 34 years old the world's most expensive player, owing his £200 million move from Barcelona to PSG in 2017. Recent injuries. Whether or not the playmaker features at this summer's showpiece, according to TalkSport, Neymar likely to leave. Could be heading to MLS. According to Ben Jacobs, Cincinnati and Neymar could develop if he stays fit. Neymar's not going to make a decision until after the World Cup, although he has to make the World Cup squad first. Lewandowski news, long link to Chicago, but recent reports that had Lewandowski not the least bit interested in Major League Soccer. Jacobs adding that it looks like more likely that he would go to the league that we don't talk about. Update on Mo Salah's future, according to Ben. Ben talked to Sir Mohammed Mansour, and this goes way back, that San Diego would be an outlet for Mo Salah in Major League Soccer. 3 weeks ago, Ben asks, and this was at the big conference, the big SBJ conference that was here in town, asks if he's going to sign Salah. Then the response to the question by Sir Mohammed Mansour was, quote, well, if it was my choice, yes, but it's not really within our model, much more youth-led. So he's still pushing for Salah. Keep an eye on San Diego. And so European interest as well. Obviously, the league that we don't talk about is very, very interested in Mo Salah as well. Chelsea looking for a possible move to former Barcelona manager Xavi Hernandez as they look for their new head coach. That's from The Independent. Casemiro, we talked about him and Messi and friends. Liverpool interested in Marco Senesi from Bournemouth, becoming a free agent in the summer, linked with Spurs also. Liverpool midfielder Curtis Jones on the radar of Internazionale as a potential backup option for Hakan Calhanoglu. That's from Gazzetta dello Sport. Spurs keeper Guillermo Vicario also reportedly on Inter's shortlist as they look for a long-term successor to Jan Sommer. That's from Gazzetta. Juve are also exploring a move for Stuttgart midfielder Angelo Stiller. That's from Tuttosport. Three-letter paper says Spurs are planning to hand defender Luka Vuskovic a new contract to ward off interest from other clubs. Currently on loan at Hamburg. Newcastle's Nick Voltemade set to push for an exit from the club this summer. Southampton intend to sign Kyle Larin permanently from Real Mallorca if they get promotion to the Premier League. Once again, that's a three-letter paper. Atleti and Napoli, among several teams in Europe, weighing up a move for Rennes striker Esteban Lapal. Nicolas Shira has Villa, Palace, Fulham, and Everton looking at Juve defender Federico Gotti. Sunderland keeper Robin Roofs is on the radar of Spurs. Don't go. Football Insider. Nicolas Shira, Spurs, Villa, Bournemouth have joined Internazionale in the race for Sassuolo defender Tariq Muharremovic. Telegraph, multiple clubs in Europe keeping an eye on West Ham winger Crescencio Somerville. Keep an eye on relegation. Three-letter paper also is saying that Everton and Nottingham Forest are among the Premier League teams interested in Sunderland forward Wilson Isidore. So those are your gossips, rumors, and innuendos coming in this morning. Today, just to give you an idea on the juice boxes in the Women's Super League, it is Arsenal at a minus 310 hosting Brighton on the board. Where's my scores? So today with Libertadores and Sudamericana, we've got that going on as well. Libertadores, 6 o'clock, Cusco and Estudiantes de La Plata. Estudiantes a plus 140. Deportivo La Guaira and Bolivar. Bolivar is a plus 165 in Caracas. 8:30, Independiente Rivadavia is a plus 140 with Fluminense. That one is at Malvinas Argentinas in Mendoza. 8:30, Independiente Santa Fe going up against 3-0 Corinthians in Bogota. Corinthians are a plus 160. 10 o'clockers, Deportivas Tolima and Nacional. Tolima is a plus 120. Universidad Católica is in Santiago with Cruzeiro. Two teams at 2-0-1. Cruzeiro is a plus 145. And I'm trying to see. So Ligue 1, the Premier League, is going on right now. So women's soccer is going on in France at the moment. We've got USL, Northern Super League, League One, etc. All that stuff is going on right now in activity late on a Tuesday morning. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that is going on that we might have missed as I sit here and try to write things down. We talked about what happened last night, and we talked about what is going on at noon. It is round robin with coaches on Red Clay Wednesday. Jason Galt from West Forsyth, Dustin Jeanette from GMC Prep, Justin Brantley from Islands, Alex Zimmerman from East Hall. At noon, 12:10, 12:20, and 12:30. We'll go over your brackets as well and let you know what else is going on this or any other planet when it comes to high school soccer. Let me see if I missed anything from yesterday. Let's see. Oh, the FA and U.S. Soccer is seeking more control from FIFA over the Women's World Cup. This comes from Matt Hughes over at The Guardian. joined forces to lobby FIFA to alter the proposed organizational model for the 31 and 35 Women's World Cups. Both federations understood to be seeking more local control after concerns have arisen over the organization of this summer's Men's World Cup, particularly regarding cost of tickets and financial disputes. U.S. Soccer and the FA are the sole bidders for 31 and 35, allocated by FIFA at the extraordinary general meeting in November. Staged matches in Mexico, Costa Rica, Jamaica, FA leading a joint bid with Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. U.S. Soccer sources say they've been encouraged by FIFA's willingness to listen to their concerns during initial conversations, and FIFA has altered, according to Hughes, the World Cup model after the 22 tournament in Qatar to take control of ops and delivery for U.S., Canada, Mexico. Previously, it was the responsibility of the local organizing committee, which was a joint model with the hosts. And then also on the board, it was listed that Gianni Infantino saying that high ticket prices are justified in the U.S. marketplace. Once again, supply and demand, I understand that. I understand where he's coming from with that. But the prices are absolutely insane. So I think that will do it. Most players are also going to be earning for Manchester United a 25% pay rise in salary after making Champions League. So Bruno Fernandes could be making £250,000 a week now. So keep an eye on that. All right. Coming back at the top of the hour, top of the next hour, we're going to talk everything Red Clay Wednesday. We'll break it all down for you. We got brackets. We got coaches. Bang, 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 bang. 12 noon, 12:10, 12:20, 12:30, and then brackets. Remember, no game tonight. It's an off day. No SDHAM tomorrow. No Red Clay tomorrow because we're at the National Training Center, groundbreaking, ribbon cutting, all the things. So we're there tomorrow. We'll have content for you from there on all of our social media platforms. So no SDHAM and no Red Clay tomorrow. Back on Friday for both to get you set up for the weekend and everything going on in Major League Soccer. So coming back, top of the hour, we'll break it all down for you, let you know what's going on in high school with another Red Clay Wednesday presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Red Clay Wednesday on Kaiser Permanente. So there you go. It is the end of the show. As always, thanks to everybody who hopped in this morning. Morning, Ricky. Morning, Dell. Morning, Lokeville. Morning, David. And morning, Kefsey. And thanks for you guys on the Twitch pitch, and thanks for all of you for watching and listening as you do. So for everybody here, thanks to the coaches. Thanks to Justin Osteen at Pike County and Zebulon, Rob Houston at Greenbrier and suburban Augusta, and for Dylan Butler for dropping by from MLSsoccer.com. It's another go-round of SDHAM. Since it is the end of the show, that means one thing. You get to do this. Back at it again in 53 minutes. See you in a bit.